Good morning, everyone. It's Cynthia with your daily tarot card of the day. This week we are using the HerbCrafter's tarot, and I have information about that in the description box below. These messages are timeless, so whenever you happen to find them, there's likely something here for you. But above all else, trust your own intuition. I'm going to tune into the general collective energies of the day and bring through messages from spirit. But tune into your own intuition, your own inner guidance, your own higher self and spirit guides, so that whatever card comes up, you might find your own personal messages and insights. Take what resonates from the messages I deliver and leave the rest behind. And, enjoy your day. Okay, Spirit. So, what do we have for today? The Seven of Earth, which is in more traditional tarot, the Seven of Pentacles. Can you see that? This is lovely. I really like this perspective on the Seven of Pentacles with the oak and the gathering basket, the fall leaves, that kind of a thing. It does give off that earthy pentacle vibe, but it also gives off like this energy of like seasons changing and the growth of things over time. And when you see in traditional tarot the Seven of Pentacles, you've got those pentacles on like that sort of vining shrubbery bush type of thing in the garden. You've got somebody who's standing there kind of like leaning on their garden tool, their rake or their hoe or whatever it is. And it always signifies a certain amount of patience or taking care of things. And depending upon the vibes, it can bring up feelings of impatience, discontentedness, sometimes making poor decisions or taking action too soon because of a lack of patience. In this one, what I'm getting from the acorns in the basket, that strong oak tree in the background, the book, the autumn leaves, it's like all growth takes time, and all growth is a process. And you can say that it's cyclical, but it's also evolutionary. You could say the oak tree goes through the same cycle over and over and over again, but it's never the same oak tree. Once you go through the cycle, that transforms you. So even if you go through the cycle again, you're a different person and you interact with it differently. And as a plant in a garden grows, especially one like an oak tree, something perennial, or in that sense, where it's going through the season cycles over and over again, but it's changed by each season, and it's changed by each entire turn of seasons. And so in one sense, the oak represents strength, and a certain amount of steadfastness. It's got that rootedness, but it also is a great symbol of wisdom and power because of the wisdom. And so I'm feeling like between book learning is knowledge, but understanding the seasons and cycles and patterns of growth is wisdom. Incorporating your knowledge and what you learned from the past, that's where the logical mind, the ego mind, that reason comes into play, is by processing what's already been done. And in the natural growth and seasons of putting that knowledge into action and gaining experience or having different experiences, that's where the wisdom comes into play. That's where the growth happens. So that every time you do cycle through, say, a year or a season, you celebrate your birthday. It's not just celebrating the day that you arrived on the planet. It's celebrating that you went through another year and you're a different person. It's not just that you're quote unquote a year older. You know what I mean? But it's definitely that cycle of growth. So when I look at this Seven of Earth, this is what's really coming through for me today. That seems to be relative to the collective energy. It's about recognizing the cycle of growth, incorporating what's already been learned into how you live day by day, but recognizing that you change. Allow yourself to be different than you were. So maybe there's something here about like an identity shift, or telling yourself a different story about something that might have to do with yourself, or that might have to do with a particular experience in your life. How are you defining yourself? Do you define yourself by your job, or by your relationships, or by something that you do? Or do you define yourself by who you are, and as that person you are the one who does these things? You know what I mean? So there could be some kind of a shift in perspective, gaining of wisdom, or in either dealing with something that you have around you, or in moving forward with a direction that you'd like to take, even though things might be slow going and it could be pressing on your patience. Sitting and reflecting on the idea of, who am I and how do I do this thing? And what wisdom can I bring into this moment to cultivate patience, to cultivate wisdom, to cultivate strength in myself, so that I can move forward wisely when the time is right. I just heard the phrase closing the book. So there could be some aspect of, in order to move forward, we need to close the book on, it's autumn time. That's the time of endings, harvesting, you know what I mean? Gathering. So there's this energy of closing the book on something that's already completed. It could be, and I just heard earlier this morning, and I'm picking up on it again now, it could be like a soul contract, or a karmic cycle, or a karmic relationship. And it's not to say that the relationship or situation itself has to change, but something about it has transformed, and the old book needs to be closed in order to be able to move forward. And so if a relationship could be ending, a relationship could be moving up to the next level. but what's been done before needs to be closed out. We need to turn the page or close out that chapter, because we're not repeating the past. We're moving forward from where we are. We're not extending the past into our future. We're starting from where we are. So something's shifted, something's changed. And again, whether it's a relationship or a situation or a job move or a career move or a new project coming in, there's something about shifting perspective and closing the book on the past and recognizing where we're at right now in order to move forward. So it appears that today's energy really does have like this reflective quality, patience, wisdom, strength, and the sort of wherewithal and courage to recognize where we're at in the stage, in the cycle, to honor and acknowledge that something's different than it was before, and to start defining the current situation or the present moment by what's been gathered and what's been learned, as opposed to what we think should be permanent. So some kind of shift of perspective or change of definition, either of the self or of the self in relationship to a particular situation. Something has grown and it's getting ready to go into this dormant period, so that it can continue to grow in the future. So if there's some kind of a dormancy, or if there's some kind of a shift or change going on, recognize that, it's safe to close the book on the past. You've gained a lot of knowledge and wisdom, so reflect on that, because that's what you've harvested, that knowledge, right? So in order to use it, you have to carry it, gather it up, sift through it, take out what's not useful and keep the good ones, and move forward in order to create whatever it is that you need to create, but recognizing your strength in doing so. And it's a process, and it takes patience. And just because you think, I've been here before, I've done this before, I can't believe this is happening again, don't look at it that way. Look at it as, ooh, I've taken this test 100 times, but I'm going to, either I need to take it one more time, or, oh, I know what I'm doing. Boom, 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 and get it done and move it out and finish it up. Excuse me. And I think the note that Spirit wants to leave on, I just heard pat on the back. So Spirit's giving you a pat on the back. You can give yourself a pat on the back. Like, honestly, as you gather up this wisdom or this knowledge, because you're going to use it as wisdom, be patient with yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back, because you've really accomplished more than maybe you give yourself credit for. So with that, I wish you a wonderful day, lots of peace and blessings. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow.